My toxic manager made me work when I was feeling sick. It turns out I have cancer and his face was priceless when he saw me. In 2010 I worked at a corner drugstore as a department lead. I was 21, I did the bare minimum, and I hated working Sundays, which were my Fridays. I will be the first to admit that I could have been a better employee, but I knew this wouldn't be my career and I was just coasting until I graduated. Sunday, May 2nd rolls around and I felt awful. I had already not been feeling great. That Friday I was a bit under the weather. When Saturday came around I felt pretty okay, but then Sunday hit like a sack of bricks. About 2 hours into my shift I asked my manager, Ryan, if I could go home. The guys in management despised me, so I was not surprised when this particular manager snarkily responded with, "You need to get someone to come in and finish your shift." This wasn't policy. He was just being an ass about it because he didn't like me. Fine, no problem. I called one of my co-workers and she came in for me. My boyfriend at the time was working at a hotel down the street. We shared a car, so I went to his hotel to sleep until he got off work. I slept in the lobby for 9 hours straight. We made it home and I started coughing up blood. My boyfriend forced me to the ER that night. I was diagnosed with strep and admitted to the hospital. That Monday, the 3rd, one of the nurses informed me that I'd be in the hospital for at least a week, so I called my store to let them know. The manager I spoke with, Brad, hated me more than anyone else at that store. I told him the news. Brad, you'll be out for a week for strep? Me, yeah. Do you want to talk to the nurse? She's right here. Brad, no, we'll see you when you get back. He was clearly irritated by the news, but there was nothing I could do. What I hadn't told him, as I didn't know at that time, is I was admitted because the hospital suspected I had something much worse. I was visited by a doctor on Monday who explained he'd like to perform a bone marrow biopsy. I had no idea what that was or why he'd want to do one, except that my blood counts looked weird. I had the procedure done and continued recovering from strep. Tuesday, May 4th comes and the doctor from the day before pays me another visit. We got the results of your BMB back. You have an aggressive form of leukemia that requires immediate treatment. We'll be sending you to a hospital in big city to start chemo tonight. My world was turned upside down. I called my best friends, all of whom I worked with, and invited them to the hospital to share the news. One of my friends had a shift that afternoon and broke the news to the store. Twinkies has cancer. I spent 28 arduous days in the hospital fighting for my life. My mom had visited my store a few times during my hospital stay and talked with my store manager, letting her know what was going on. My SM was very understanding and supportive. The other managers never said a word to me, my mom, or my friends about the situation. When I finally got out of the hospital, I went to my old store to pick up my maintenance cancer meds. As I made my way back towards the pharmacy, bruised, bald, and with a bright purple PICC line sticking out of my arm, I turned down aisle 10 and who do I see? Ryan, stocking vitamins. Hi Ryan, I gleefully shouted. The look on his face was priceless. Oh my god, Twinkies, are you okay? How are you feeling? I'm great now, thank you. It's a good thing I left early that Sunday and ended up in the hospital so they found the cancer. The whole situation was absolutely delicious. Despite everything I went through, the feeling of complete vindication when they had to face my cancer-ridden self was incredible. I never ended up going back to work there. I had to file for disability because the next 5 months of my life were week-long hospital stays followed by constant transfusions, checkups, and even a case of sepsis that almost unalived me. But I still remember Ryan's face and it brings a smile to mine. May 4th will be 15 years since my DX and there's no sign of it coming back.